In this video, we're going to recreate the website that we see right here on the right side of my screen. So to get started, there's a little bit of housekeeping that we are going to need to do. I want you to go into the folder that contains the web page that you created, the helloworld.html page. Excuse me. And I want you to create a new file called aboutme.html. So to do that, there's a couple ways to do it. You could simply copy and paste it into the same folder, and it's called Hello World copy, and then we can press enter and rename it to aboutme.html. Another thing that we could do is we could simply take the contents of this page and copy it, create a new document here in Atom by doing file new file, or command N like I just did, and then we can paste that stuff, command V for me or control V in Windows, and then you would do file, save as, and call it aboutme.html. Since I already have the file there, it's going to ask me if I want to replace it, and sure enough, I do. Cool. So now we have another file called aboutme.html, which is a good starting point for us to kind of go through the process of recreating this HTML page that we see here on the right. So now there's a couple more things that we need to do as well. So inside of here, I want you to do the following. So I want you to go ahead and actually add a couple of folders to the Hello World folder as well, and then you will have the very basic structure that is needed to kind of build out the rest of this website. So there's a couple folders that we need to add. The first one is the images folder, so images, and then we need to add one called styles, and then one called scripts. So what is going to happen here? Inside of the images folder, that is where all of the images are going to live. Inside of scripts, this is where all of the JavaScripts are going to live. The JavaScript files are all going to be contained in here, and then all of our CSS files are going to go inside of the styles directory. This is just a very simple and common way of organizing the various files that we're going to be creating and using in our website. So now that that is taken care of, we can get started to kind of creating the initial structure of our page. So if I look at aboutme.html, I notice the following. My title is my first web page, and the title here on the right is my web page. So let's just make it be the same and delete the word first. Okay, so now I have the title set to be the same, and I'm going to get to this stuff right here. These are different links in a bulleted list. That is a much more advanced topic that we'll get to at the very end of this video. So the first thing that appears on the page is a header which says my name. We're going to create one right here and do h1. H1 is a header tag. It is the largest header, and as you go from h1 to h2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, the headers actually get smaller. So that means like h1 is a large header, h2 is slightly smaller than h1, h3 is slightly smaller than h2, and so on and so forth. So inside of this h1 tag, I'm going to type my name. Or I can just type Andre's webpage. Alright, so Andre's website and h1. So now I have a website which has my name written on it, and I'm going to delete this hello world tag that is showing right here. So now we are going to file, save, and open this bad boy in Finder and open aboutme.html. So now we can see Andre's website, and I'm getting started with HTML. So back to the page that we were at before, the next thing that we notice here is that there is an image. I don't have an image actually saved on my desktop right now, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to right click, save image as, and and I'm going to save this profile picture image in my hello world / images folder. So we're going to save this folder there, and images, save. So now we have profile pic.jpg saved in our images folder, and we're going to actually be able to access it in a bit and show the image. So, but before we do that, let's go and finish off the rest of this website, and then we can get down to the images tag and how to use attributes appropriately. So on today's website, I'm getting started with HTML. Let's do the My Hobbies Include section. So My Hobbies Include is another header, but if you notice, my name is huge and My Hobbies Include is slightly smaller. So to do this, we need to make a slightly smaller header, which in this case is an H2. So let's do an H2 tag right here, and then type My Hobbies Include. So now that we have this My Hobbies Include header in, we notice the following. There's a bulleted list of things that is right underneath it. So bulleted lists are really interesting in that they require a nested HTML tag for it to work. So a bulleted list in HTML is known as the unordered list. So to do so, we need to use the UL tag, where U is unordered and L stands for list. So UL is the tag that we're going to do, and we're going to remember to close out this tag as well. So that is a /UL. And then we're going to put them on 2 separate lines and then start typing content in the middle of it. So to add an item to the list, we need to use the list item tag. So a list item tag is simply the li tag. And the li tag is just the item that we want to put into the list. It's going to have a little bullet by it. And then we're going to type some content. So notice something cool. If you look at the very top of the page, you can see things like homepage, contact information. And those are links that are inside of a bulleted list. So we're actually going to be using the same construct here, an unordered list with a bunch of list items, but these list items can also contain other HTML elements inside of them as well. So keep that in mind as we move along and kind of get to the very end of this lecture, because you'll see that shortly. So now inside of the list, I need to start putting in the different list items that I have. So the first one is riding bike. So I'm going to type riding bike. I'm going to close out my list item. I'm going to do another list item. I'm going to remember to close it out this time, because that is a very important habit to get into, or you might miss a bracket or something and your whole website might not look good. So I'll write drinking coffee. And then we will add one more, just for completion's sake. Exercising. I gotta close out the tag first. Make sure I practice what I preach. Alrighty, so we have exercising, riding bike, and drinking coffee listed there as hobbies. So I save the file, and then I just need to, I'm gonna actually load it in Chrome. There we go. So my hobbies include riding bike, drinking coffee, and exercising. Looking good. Looking good. Cool. I happen to lose my window there real quick. Let me bring it back up. There we go. Cool. So, sorry about that. I have lost a bunch of windows here. All right. And cool. So now that we're back in action, we have the 3 bullet points that we wanted to put there, and then we're gonna have another header and then an ordered list in this case. So let's go ahead and fill those out. You should kind of see a pattern by now. In this case, the tag here is an H2, and it contains the text "My favorite foods are." And we need to close out the h2 tag. Don't forget that. And then we're going to do an ordered list of 3 items. So an ordered list is actually the OL tag. So OL, press enter, and then on the same level of indentation, we're going to close it out and type OL. So it's an ordered list, and just like with the unordered list, they contain lots of LIs in them as well. So we can do LI, close LI, and it'll type in burritos. And then we can do the same thing with another LI, hamburgers, and then the last one is chicken teriyaki. Cool. So now we have an ordered list with 3 elements. We're going to save our page, go to the web page, and refresh them. And now you can see that my favorite foods are, and these 3 items appear there as well. Great. So the only thing really left to add to this page is the image and the navigation bar contents. So let's go ahead and add the image to the web page. We put it right underneath your name. So clicking here under Andre's website, I'm going to press enter, and then we're going to add an image tag. The image tag is the 3 letters IMG. And in this case, all we're going to have to do is we're going to have to add the source of the image and also some other information to it as well. But notice what is happening here. Notice what is happening here with Adam. Okay. Try again. So to add the image to the web page, we need to do the following. We need to add the image tag, and that is a tag which is just the letters IMG. So inside of the image tag, we're going to have to do something that's a little bit different than all of the other tags that we have on our page, and that is to add a couple attributes. Notice how Adam is completing these for me automatically, which is pretty cool. And an attribute is something which has information about the tag that we can kind of even further specify. So in the case of an image, we need to specify things like its height and its width to keep it constrained to a certain size. And we also need to specify the source of the image, so that way we can know where the image is in fact located. So let's do the source of the image first, just to see if we can get the image to appear. So I click on source, right? And Adam does the following. It types the letters src, $, and then double quote, double quote. So this is how an attribute is supposed to look. And then to close out this tag, we do a / and then we do a closing bracket. Well, in this case, actually, we don't need the /. We just need a closing bracket. So the source of this image is the image that we added to our images folder. So to do that, we need to use a file path. And a file path is an interesting concept if you haven't really dealt with one in terms of like programming before, but it's pretty much the same in a bunch of different programming languages. So what we're going to do is we're going to first specify the folder that we're in. So we are inside of the Hello World folder. All right, we're going to start here in Hello World. And the web page that we're dealing with is about me. So the URL that we're trying to go to, or the file path, is relative to the path that we are in. So what we're going to do is we're going to do inside of our source, we're going to do a dot and a /. And that's going to get us to the Hello World directory, which has about me, Hello World, images, scripts, and styles. And now we need to go inside of the images folder. So we do a dot / and then we say images to go to the images folder. And then we do another / and then we say profile _pic, which is the name of our file, .jpg, and which is the extension of our file. So by doing this, we can now save and refresh the page, and I see that my image appears. And it's a little big. I mean, I can see like, yeah, it's a pretty huge image. I want to like maybe constrain the size a bit, and I have it kind of smaller here, and it looks good. It's not like the best size, so I'm gonna go ahead and make it a little bit smaller. So I did some calculations on this image, and the height and width that we want it to be is 445 pixels wide and 259 pixels high. So we're gonna type in the width and height attributes that we want. So width equals double quotes 445, and then height equals 259. So we actually didn't specify any units here, so we're gonna need to make sure that we have pixels specified. So now we have pixels specified as our units, and we're able to save the file. And then if I refresh the page, it appears much smaller and the same size as before. Cool. So now we have this page, and it has the images there, it has all the contents except for this list of pages. So whenever we add the other pages in, we'll include links to them one by one as we add them, and kind of begin to start cracking away at this website, and can keep developing it to include like the resume page, the portfolio page, the blog, contact information, and back to our homepage. So those will be coming soon, and stay tuned for more.